Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Noah, and this movie is directed by Darren Aronofsky, and it came out in 2014. Unlike a lot of Darren Aronofsky movies that I've talked about on my channel, I've talked about all of them except for The Fountain, which is the only one I haven't seen or reviewed at this point, and this was the only one that I had seen before, and I remember it being fine. Like, there were some parts about it that kind of stuck with me, and there were things that I could remember about it. But rewatching the movie, it didn't really hold up, unfortunately. And out of all of it, Darren Aronofsky's movies, this was the most boring out of his films for me. I was invested in this movie the least. Not because it's a very slow-paced film, because it's surprisingly quickly paced for what it is, and it's 2 hours and 18 minutes long. Is that runtime justified? Not really. I was happy that it wasn't slow, but at the same time, the entirety of the runtime and story, it just didn't feel like it was in service of anything. And I just kept waiting for something interesting to happen, and all the interesting things that could happen are just things that you already know are to come. And everyone knows this story, and it's just Noah building the ark, and I'm sure you all are familiar with what happens, and there were some interesting character designs, like the design of like the fallen angels. There were like rock creatures, and some interesting things there. I do think that the music works pretty well in this movie, and that was the standout part of the film was the music, and it's not a poorly shot film for the most part, and there's a lot of close-ups, and that's just part of Aronofsky's style. But like I said earlier, it doesn't really service anything. It's just there because it's what he does, but I just don't feel like I'm benefiting from this. I thought this movie had a good cast, and I do think that carries it for me. Like Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Ray Winstone. He was my favorite part of the entire film, and whenever he was on screen, it was a better part in the film, even if his character isn't all too great. And all the characters are pretty simple, and a lot of the dialogue is very repetitive, and it's just the same thing being told over and over again. And that was kind of irritating, and it also made the characters feel a bit underdeveloped. Like, I didn't really know a whole lot about these characters, or at least not enough to care about them. That was something that I was having an issue with, like, 20 minutes in, and by that point I was, like, completely checked out, and I was just passively watching the film and not getting anything out of it. The CGI in this movie didn't really hold up, and that was a bit distracting, especially in scenes that use it heavily. And I thought there were too many dream sequences in this movie, to the point where I found it to be kind of distracting. The action in this movie, when we did get action, which was like 2 scenes, it was boring because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Not because I was spoiled for the movie, but I just didn't believe that any of the characters were in any danger. And that's about all I have to say about Noah. It's dated and doesn't really offer me anything. It's basically just a big studio movie that Darren Aronofsky did. And we got it, and it's not very good. And it just doesn't sell me what I want when I think of his movies that I really love, like Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, The Whale, and even Pi I like better than this. For me, this was just easily his worst movie, and definitely his most boring, and I will never be watching this movie again. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Noah a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Noah, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.